Welcome, welcome, welcome to a very special March Madness edition of the Detroit News College Basketball Show. Didn't get to do one last year. It got canceled, the tournament. So we are so excited. Me, Bob Wojonowski, Wojo, columnist for the news. Him, Niyo, Johnny Niyo, columnist for the news. So excited to have a 68-team bracket to go through for the first time in 2 years. Niyo, why don't we begin with the team that kind of surprised some people? That Michigan
State, team that we needed all 68 teams to watch in this tournament, which was a little bit of a surprise tonight.
Michigan State, we knew they were, should sweat a little bit. Some people didn't think they needed to.
I think they thought they were done sweating. And
I do too. So what did you think? They got the play-in game against UCLA, a nice marquee matchup, but don't tell me that wasn't planned by the NCAA committee. But basically, Izzo, I'm glad to have the 23-year streak alive, but I think he was kind of disappointed with the play-in aspect.
Well, absolutely. And, for the logistics of it, but, he's trying to get to the second weekend of the tournament. I think they felt like they had a decent chance to get to the second week in the tournament the way they played towards the end of the season, but they were running on fumes there at the end of the regular season. Got a little rest by losing early in the Big Ten tournament, but now they got to play 3 games in less than a week, which they've done quite a bit of here this last month or two. So no, it's not what they were looking for. I think they thought they were a 10 or 11 seed above the play-in game,
right?
And it's not a playing game, I realize, but it is a playing game. And so, this is not what they drew up. But you know what? The way the matchup's set up, I think they will get into the field of 64 and get past UCLA. I just don't know what that takes out of them in terms of getting past the next one.
Right. And Izzo did not, like I said, he was disappointed. I don't think he was furious. He was more confused because everyone said all year the Big Ten is so tough, which it is. 9 teams in, then why was the 9th team a first 4 game, as they say? And he's upset about the net being used, the net rankings. Sure. It's kind of a confusing thing. I'll be honest though, maybe not a play.
What's not confusing
is what they deserve.
Right. Yeah. And what's not confusing is the reason why their resume doesn't hold up as well as they want it to. It's because of some of those really, really bad losses, and a lot of them, frankly, for a team that's in the NCAA tournament. So, you can argue about it, but it doesn't change the fact that you got to go play this game against UCLA. And like I said, I think UCLA is the sort of team, and even really the next game, if we're looking ahead, at BYU, these aren't teams that are going to get up in you defensively. They're not going to turn you over, which is a problem that Michigan State has and will be the reason why they get bounced from this tournament at some point, probably. Those aren't 2 opponents that are going to do that to you. So I do think they can win these first 2 games now that they have to win.
Right.
Just get past the weekend or whatever.
And then they could run into Texas, which I think would be problematic. Yeah. But all in all, the streak is alive. That's the bottom line. Izzo didn't want to really – he was very appreciative of that, but disappointed, I think, in the first 4. But the bottom line, 23 years, which is, go back a few weeks, 4-9 in the Big Ten. People didn't think this was going to happen at all. So they get full marks for that part of it. Now, the other side, also in the East bracket, is Michigan. Some people thought they might lose their number 1 seed, maybe to Alabama, because even though they only lost by 1 to Ohio State, they lost Isaiah Livers going forward. That is a problem. It didn't cost them a number 1 seed. I think they did drop from the 3rd number 1 seed to the 4th number 1 seed because Alabama is in their bracket now. Same bracket as Michigan State, the East bracket. It's one of the – I haven't gone all the way through, but it's certainly one of the tougher brackets, especially without Livers. I certainly think they can get to the Elite 8. 1 step more to the Final 4. They'd probably have to beat Alabama. I don't know. You tell me, Niyo. Is Isaiah Livers any chance of him coming back in the tournament?
No. When you're talking about a stress fracture, it's usually a month or 2 at least. And so that would say no. We don't know the full extent or position of the injury. And I'm sure part of the reason why they're not putting any time frame on it, A, they don't know for sure. You don't know how it's going to respond. And B, you don't want to give that to the tournament committee and possibly
right.
number one seed. That makes complete sense. But no, I don't expect to see him in the tournament. I don't really think they expect to see him in the tournament, which does. It takes, they had an elite looking offense when, towards the end of the season, we saw it as they beat team after team. It's not elite without Isaiah Livers, and you saw that Saturday against Ohio State. It's certainly a team that's capable of making a run, but
they showed that at the comeback against Ohio State as well.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it just Livers opens up so many more things, the spacing and everything else offensively. They're going to have. I think the good news, and I wrote this for tomorrow, is that I think they need a little time to figure out what they want to try to do. I mean, they used Brandon Johns in the lineup Saturday against Ohio State. I think if it was me, I think I'd go with Sean D. Brown, because I think he does a little bit more of the things that you can space the floor a little better, and maybe go 30 minutes with him and keep Johns more in that backup 5 role that he's sort of excelled at. But I don't know. We'll see. And it's matchup dependent. I think their ceiling probably got lowered a little bit.
It did, but I disagree with you on that. I think Brandon Johns, I want to see him start. With expanded role, we haven't really seen what I think. Sean D. Brown is perfect coming off the bench,
and I think that's the idea.
And I think Johns hasn't shown, because he's always been yanked in and yanked out. And what's he role going to be? Start him in a game, and I think you'll see more from Brandon.
And look, against a 16 seed, you can build some more confidence with that move, with that decision. I think we saw Sean D. Brown in the second half when they blitzed Maryland the other day, playing with the starters basically for the first time all year, and I thought it looked pretty good. It didn't look the chances, but he didn't get much chance Saturday because Wagner was in foul trouble and was on the bench. So but look, their bracket, you mentioned it, I think it's the toughest bracket. I mean, I'm looking at
very tough.
Baylor's bracket. I think that seems like a cakewalk comparatively, because you look at when Michigan's got it, even the 8-9 game, you got LSU, a team that looked pretty good playing the SEC tournament today, almost beat Alabama. Florida State's a tough.
State's
got an NBA lottery pick there.
Well, we can at least say that.
And then you get to that bottom half where we were just talking about, with Texas has got that athletic front line that's got 2 first-round picks and just beat Oklahoma State, and then Alabama, a team that plays great defense and has that small ball lineup that could probably give this Michigan team a little problem. I just think they have a tough bracket.
They do have a tough bracket,
which is sort of the way it's supposed to be for the 1 seed and the 4th 1 seed, I guess. But
right. I do believe, though, they'll beat the winner of Mount St. Mary, Texas Southern. I believe they would win if you combine Mount St. Mary and Texas Southern into one team. I think they would win.
Yeah.
Now after that, it gets.
And look, LSU might be on probation by the time they get.
Or people, right? A lot of people like the Bonnies, St. Bonaventure, going forward. So that's. I do think I was picking Michigan into the Final Four until the Livers thing, and now. Mm-hmm. That Alabama, the way Alabama's playing, I think if they had that, I would take Alabama. And I have Michigan State winning 1 game, beating UCLA, and losing to BYU, even though I don't respect that conference at BYU.
Yeah, this is going to be a problem for you. Tournament. Mount St. Mary's, you got.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing, real quick. We're not going to give our Final Four yet, because we'll see.
Good, because I haven't even looked. Yes.
But I haven't either. But here's one thing: everybody, and by everybody I mean almost everybody, thinks this is a year Gonzaga finally does it and wins it. And if I had to pick right now, I think I would take Illinois. The inside, outside, quickness, defense, offense. I would.
Yeah, and the way inside, outside for sure, and they look like a team that's got the motivation and sort of on a mission. They got manufactured. I mean, they're making their own fake trophies and banners and everything else, but they motivated. Io came back for this, but no, man, I've picked Gonzaga before, and obviously been wrong.
Oh, you're going to do it again, aren't you?
I might do it again. Although I
that's
look at that bracket and I see Baylor, and I could almost see myself picking Baylor just because I think they're the.
I do think it's very top heavy, and it's a big drop off after the top 4 or 5 teams.
But I'm with you. I think I probably will end up with Alabama coming out of this East Regional.
Right.
But I don't know. There's time to change my mind.
See if they work on Liver's foot a little bit there and get it going.
All right. I have Michigan State winning 2 games.
2 games. I have them winning 1. All right. Yeah. All right. So we'll check back in at a future time. Enjoy March Madness. Wojo, Johnny Niyo on our Detroit News College Basketball Show. And you can find us and our columns at DetroitNews.com.